for sharing part of this wonderful sunny day with me and with us here at the center. Beautiful. If you feel like singing, please sing along. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, we are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. You see, I said we by mistake because I was delighted there's so many Clementine fans in the audience. Thank you so much. As a storyteller, I am always looking for stories that grab the listener right away, and this one does. Because right from the get-go, we learned that he loved her and he lost her. And who can't relate to that from one side or the other? And then we learned what Clementine looked like through the eyes of the man who loves her. Fair she was and like a fairy, and her shoes were number 9. Herring boxes without topses, sandals were for Clementine. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. Now, I like a woman with size 9 feet myself. I'm very partial. And I was very partial even as a little kid to Clementine. We used to sing the song when I was a little kid, and I wanted to be like Clementine, including dressing like her. So when I learned that she wore herring boxes without topses for her sandals, I was keen to do the same thing, but alas, my family did not eat herring. But my dad was very partial to anchovies. It's because he loved salt, and he shared with me that love of salt. I am a salt fanatic. My mother, not so much. In fact, Mom, I'm an only child, and Mom got so tired of having to pass the salt back and forth between me and my dad at the supper table that she bought 2 pair of salt and pepper shakers so we could each have one right at our plate. So she was not so much into the salt scene, and when Dad would go into the kitchen after supper for a late night anchovy snack, Mom would leave. I can't watch this, Henry. She would say she would leave the kitchen, but I was fascinated. I remember standing right beside Dad. I was just about at his belt buckle level at that point, and he would take the anchovy tin, snap off the metal key, and use it to peel off the metal top from the can, and there the anchovies would be. Oh, I see we have some not anchovy fans in the audience too. This part can get kind of gruesome if you don't like them, because there they were, those long brown fillets in the gleaming golden oil, and Dad would pick one up, raise it up high, tilt his mouth and his head back and drop it right into his mouth. It only has occurred to me in later life that he might have been showing off a little bit for this little adoring audience of one by his side. I just thought that was fantastic. And I wasn't up for eating an anchovy at that age, but I did get to dip my little finger in the oil and taste it, and that was quite enough for me. But one morning, after Dad had had his late night anchovy snack, I came into the kitchen thinking of Clementine, and I, excuse the pun, fished the anchovy tin out of the garbage, crammed my little 4-year-old foot into it, and started to stomp around the kitchen like Clementine. Yes, yes, there was blood on the kitchen floor that day. And my story took a turn for the worse, just like Clementine's does. Drove she ducklings to the water every morning just at 9, hit her foot upon a splinter and fell in the foaming brine. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. Now isn't that just like life? One minute you literally have your ducks in a row, in fact you're driving them to the water, and the next minute you slip and you're into it up to your neck. But this story is in the classic pattern. We know what's going to happen. The narrator, the hero, is the man singing the song, and he loves Clementine, so he's going to do his job. He's going to jump in the water and save her. Clementine's story takes a different turn. Ruby lips upon the water, and forever they will shine. But alas, I am no swimmer, dreadful sorry Clementine. She drowns. He lets her drown. It's because he can't swim. It's his fatal flaw as the hero. You know, every hero needs a fatal flaw, otherwise they'd just be too boring. So if you think of Shakespeare, Hamlet, he was indecisive. His fatal flaw. Those of us who are Jane Eyre fans, Mr. Rochester, had an insane wife up in the attic. This is a fatal flaw. Well, Clementine's fellow, he can't swim. And so for years when I would sing this song, at this point, I would say to the young women in the audience, so the moral of the story is, find a partner who can swim. But over the years, as comes wisdom, I now say to everyone in the audience, so the moral of the story is, learn to swim yourself. Exactly right. And because I have an overactive, even hyper-romantic imagination, when I first heard this song, I thought, oh, the poor man. His love of his life drowned right in front of his eyes. He probably became a hermit after that, retreated up in the mountains, lived in a little cabin just by himself. Maybe he had a little sepia tone picture of Clementine that he kissed every night before he went to sleep. And then, about 7 years ago, I was doing this song for a rather large gathering in a senior center. There was a big hall full of people. I finished the song, I thought, and before they could applaud, a fellow almost at the back of the hall raised his hand. Yes? Do you know the real last verse to that song? No? You want me to sing it for you? Okay. Please let it be all right. Please let it be all right. Please let it be all right. He got up and in the most beautiful baritone voice, he threw back his head and he sang, how I missed her, how I missed her, how I missed my Clementine. Then I kissed her little sister and forgot my Clementine. My mouth fell open. Betrayal, I thought. But everybody else in the hall was in hysterics. They were laughing, all these beautiful silver and gray heads bobbing up and down as they laughed, people slapping their knees, taking off their glasses, wiping their eyes. And I thought, oh, here is this room full of people who have known more love and loss than I can possibly imagine, laughing. And I realized it's because the resilience of the human heart, that is the happiest ending of all. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine, you are lost and gone forever,